I will still keep admitting other people.
It's on it.
Other people's, yeah. Yeah, so thank you, everyone. Oh my goodness. I literally asked Gary to come here and start this project that we are doing. So I'm so grateful for leading this one, Josh and PB. So Gary, it's your turn. Introduce a little bit about yourself, and the floor is yours. Are you guys ready? I hope everybody print your assignments.
Yes.
Because
Yay,
this
we're
is how,
ready.
yes, this is how we will know if your mind is a mess or yeah, yeah. It's gonna be exciting. Yeah. So the floor is yours, Gary. Thank you so much.
All right. I'm just setting things up slowly but surely, and we'll have it going in just 1 second. I call my talk "Order is Heaven's First Law," and I call it that because it's so important for each of us to have our minds in order for us to be successful in whatever we choose to do. Now, me, I've done an awful lot of coaching. I've done an awful lot of training, and we'll get into that in a little bit. But one of the very best quotes that I just love, and it's partially because, and I learned this well a long time ago, and then I've been studying deeply into it as I'm a coach with the Napoleon Hill Institute. And the quote that I have here that I've got on my screen right now: whatever the mind can conceive and believe, the mind can achieve. And I just added on the end of that, with order. Your mind has to be in perfect order in order for that to be the case. So, a little bit about me. I've been I was with NASA's Jet Propulsion Laboratory for well over 30 years. I've been an engineer. I was on 3 spacecraft launch teams. I was responsible for buying spacecraft hardware that's flying right now all over the solar system and roving on the surface of Mars and all kinds of stuff. I'm one of these guys that kind of has initials going all the way off the end of his business card. I've done stuff in real estate, in small business, and I've got my own business right now as founder of my own coaching. And then I'm a certified coach for the Napoleon Hill Institute, and I'm a certified instructor for the Napoleon Hill Foundation. So now that that's over, we'll talk a little bit more about what happened with me and what you can do with what I've learned and make your businesses just jump. So what are we going to, oh my goodness, this doesn't work perfect like I'd like it. You know what? I'm going to try something else. And we'll go to that, and that way we will have everything lovely. How's that sound? Who likes things lovely? I just love things lovely.
Oh, yeah.
Sounds good, Gary.
So let's do this, and can you see the chart? Does it only say 4 planned outcomes and a gift?
Yes.
Excellent. So let's talk about these planned outcomes. This is what I want you to get out of this. So the first thing is I want you to get a good introduction to Napoleon Hill and his classic book, Think and Grow Rich. The second thing is I want to share the importance of mental order, and in particular associated with your definite major purpose. Now, my belief is that since you're with an affiliate marketing sort of a company, that your desire is going to be to build a wonderful team that is completely successful. And I'm going to guess that that's correct, and I'm going to go from there. The next thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to allow you to experience a couple of order exercises to help improve your results right now, so that you can move forward faster in your businesses. And then I'm going to share an example of order in a man's mind through a video. And then I've got a little bit of a free gift for you for after all this is done that you can go watch at your leisure. So probably the number one question I always like is, who is Napoleon Hill? And so who is this guy? Napoleon Hill was born in the late 1800s. He passed away in 1970. He was born in Western Virginia, and he was a real character in his youth. I don't know what kind of mentors you guys have had. He had his mentor, not that he spoke to him directly, was Jesse James, who was the guy that would go robbing banks and all sorts of stuff. And after his father remarried, his stepmom showed him a better way. And what she had him do was she had him trade his guns in for a typewriter, and she had him learn how to write stories. So by 1908, he took a job to write success stories about famous men, and the first person that was Andrew Carnegie. Andrew Carnegie at that point in time was the owner of U.S. Steel. He was worth probably about 3 times more than Elon Musk is worth today. So so he got invited to talk to Andrew Carnegie and to set that up. And so he ended up having a 3-hour interview with Carnegie that extended into 3 days, where a very important question was asked. And the neat thing was that Hill was able to answer Andrew Carnegie's question in 29 seconds. And what that started him off on was a lifetime of research and interviewing people and taking surveys and then publishing success principles that anybody can use. And it was just fabulous. And you might ask yourself, gee whiz, what was that question? Andrew Carnegie, underneath his desk, he had a bunch of hooks, and he'd have a bunch of stuff hanging underneath there. One of the things he had hanging there was a stopwatch. So Andrew Carnegie asks Napoleon Hill, are you willing to dedicate the next 20 plus years of your life without pay to the success principles that made me successful? And what Carnegie didn't, or what Hill didn't know, but what Carnegie did was he had a stopwatch, and he was giving Napoleon Hill 60 seconds to answer the question this. Hill answered in 29, and because of that, we've been able to this is really the foundation of success principles that all kinds of people have used throughout their lives. So you might ask, well, gee whiz, who did Napoleon Hill interview? Well, of course, the first person was Andrew Carnegie. The second person was Thomas Edison. Other people that he had the opportunity to interview, Henry Ford. And then who? The 26th president of the United States, Theodore Roosevelt. After Theodore Roosevelt, he got to interview the Wright brothers. After the Wright brothers, he got to interview John D. Rockefeller, who is a monster in the oil business. And he ended up being able to interview, through Andrew Carnegie, over 500 of the most successful people of the time. And so it was just amazing. That was just a small list. So now you might ask, well, gee whiz, so what? Who's using that information today? Who credits Think and Grow Rich with their success today? Well, there's people like Bob Proctor. Come on, sweetheart. There we go. There's Bob Proctor. There's Elon Musk. There's a whole slew of people. Kobe Bryant, Oprah Winfrey, Tony Robbins started out with Think and Grow Rich, and who else? Steve Harvey and Warren Buffett, and there's just tons and tons of people who have used Think and Grow Rich as the foundation of their success. And you might be surprised to hear, since 1937, when this book, Think and Grow Rich, was first published, they've sold over 200 million copies, which is just no other book has done that. And you might go and you might try and Google, okay, how many copies? They're only going to talk about this book here, the one on the far left, and it's sold, and it's something on the order of 80 million copies. However, you don't see the full 200 million because it's been republished in a number of different versions. Here's Think and Grow Rich, a Black choice. Here's Think and Grow Rich, a Latino choice. Here's Think and Grow Rich for Women. Here's How Rich Asians Think, which is Think and Grow Rich, effectively a Latino choice. And then it's been published in all kinds of different languages: English, French, Spanish, Dutch, German, everything. And it's just amazing. The book just continues to be a powerhouse of use and of the examples of how anyone can become successful. And you might ask, well, gee whiz, what are those steps to riches? What are these success principles? And if you look at them here, these are the chapters out of Think and Grow Rich. And these are the 13 steps to riches: desire, faith, autosuggestion, and you can read the rest of them. If you want to, you can take a picture of the chart. And then there's a number of other success principles in Napoleon Hill's other works that are just, if you obey these principles, you can't help but succeed. You just can't help it. So one of the very first principles, like the first principle here, he says desire. In some of his other works, he equates desire with either a goal or a definite chief aim or a definiteness of purpose. And so what I'm going to talk about next, and what we're going to kind of talk about, is order, and as it's related to your definiteness of purpose. So what is order? Order is nothing more than the arrangement of a person's mind. How are you thinking? Are you thinking? And as related to your definiteness of purpose, are you thinking about your goal? Are you thinking about your definiteness of purpose? And then as you are you keeping your mind in order? When any negative thought comes to you, are you just gently nudging it out of your mind and putting in a positive thought? And we can talk about that a little bit later if you choose. Now, the opposite of order, especially when we're talking about your definiteness of purpose, is a thing called drifting. Now, what is drifting? Drifting is nothing more than having a lack of purpose, not knowing what you want, not knowing where you're headed. It's drifting is when you're completely influenced by negativity. So in any sales business, have you ever met rejection? Has anybody ever told you no? How do you handle being told no? Do you handle it in the context of, wow, that's good, after 10 no's I get a yes? Or do you handle it in a fashion where you kind of get glum and gloomy and, oh, they told me no? I would highly suggest to you, get out of that negative mental attitude and only allow the positive attitude, only allow your goal to stay within your mind. Another example of drifting, that this being the opposite of order, is the absence of self-discipline. If you do not do your trainings, if you do not finish what you said you would finish, what happens in those cases? You lose opportunities, you don't grow, all that sort of thing. So one of my favorite, who here likes baseball? Raise your hands. Anybody like baseball? How about baseball movies? I've got a clip from a baseball movie, and I feel that it's one of my favorite movies because it's and especially this scene, I call it lollygagging. And it's the lollygagging scene in Bull Durham. And Bull Durham is a movie that starred Kevin Costner and Susan Sarandon. And what's going on right now is this team is just full of negative thought. And because of that negative thought, they haven't been performing well. And so let's get this going. Let's put this on and, uh-oh, how are we doing this?
You know what that makes you. Larry, Mulligan. What's that? 8 to 16?
It's lollygagging, Gary.
What's that?
It's lollygagging. Okay.
Oh, the image?
He's not
Oh.
moving.
Okay. Well, let me see if you know what? Let's try something else then. Let us try something else. You guys have to see this because this is just too much fun. So let's put on the share and we'll try this again. And I'm going to bring this way over here. Can you see Bull Durham in the shower? Can you see that okay?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay,
Yes.
well, let's try this method. And I want you to take this. Was this a failure or was this a temporary defeat? I figured it out. Do you figure out what you need to do after something has not gone your way? This is a lesson right now. So we'll see if the lesson continues. So here we go. Here's this scene.
$100. 1 Mississippi, 2 Mississippi, 3 Mississippi, 4 Mississippi, 5 Mississippi, 6 Mississippi, 7 Mississippi, 8 Mississippi, 9 Mississippi, 10 Mississippi. You lollygag the ball around the end. You lollygag your way down to first. You lollygag in and out of the dugout. You know what that makes you, Larry? Lollygaggers. Lollygaggers. What's our record, Larry? 8 and 16? 8 and 16. Have we ever been 8? It's a miracle. This is a simple game. You throw the ball, you hit the ball, you catch the ball. You got it. Now we have got a 12-day road trip starting tomorrow. Let's leave 6 in the morning. Shit.
So why do you think the coach is so upset? Why do you think the coach is so upset? Anybody? Just type it in the chat. Why is the coach so upset there? Come on, sweetheart. Boy, oh boy, it's taking its time, isn't it?
No order, lack of direction.
Yeah. Well, they weren't aligned with their goal. There's a word called praxis, and what that means is that you're perfectly aligned with your goal. What the other thing, and what I would talk about with respect to praxis, is it's that alignment. What we're talking about is, are my thoughts aligned with my emotions, aligned with my actions? And when you and when all three of those things are well aligned with respect to, especially with respect to your goal, it's just fabulous. The results that you get are just to the moon. So if you want to be able to have excellent results, you need to think about your goal. You need to be feeling good about your goal. You need to be acting good about your goal. So let me see if I can get past this. I had another little bit of something in this. There we go. So in the video, the coach said, baseball is a simple game. You throw the ball, you hit the ball, you catch the ball. Doesn't that seem simple? Doesn't it sound easy? Well, guess what? All of you should be having goals. And guess what? Goal achievement is also a simple game. You adopt your goal, you plan your goal, and you act on it. And it's as simple as that. So what I'd like to share now is a little bit of my own story. And this is my story of when I was drifting and then how I went to having a definiteness of purpose, a definite plan of what I wanted in my life. When I was growing up, junior high and high school, I did everything I was supposed to do except my homework. So I was big with speeches, and I was an Eagle Scout, and I was in the student body, and you see this little short kid here, that's me. I graduated high school, 4'10" and 93 pounds. Everybody else was at least a full head taller than me. And then when I finished with high school, I went to the local junior college for 2 years, and I pretty much flunked out. So then I ended up becoming a fry cook and then a plumber, and I was a plumber for about 6 years. And what happened when I was a plumber was I got this call in the middle of the night. I should say I was. How many people know what a Roto-Rooter guy is? Can you raise your hand? Yeah, I was a Roto-Rooter guy for like 6 years. And so in the middle of the night one night, I get a phone call. This lady in Marina del Rey, probably the wealthiest condominium I've ever seen, her kitchen sink was overflowing. And if you've ever experienced the kitchen sink not working properly, you'll know that that's a whole lot of no fun. So anyway, I go there and I go into the underground garage, and you know how all the pipes are on the ceilings in the underground garages? What you're supposed to do is you're supposed to have that pipe from left to right. You put your pipe wrench on it and you open the pipe, and everything goes, it empties the pipe, and then you clean out the pipe with the snake, and everything's wonderful. Well, what ends up happening that day is I put my wrench on that cap and I'm trying to open the pipe and I can't open it. I just wasn't strong enough. So I end up doing exactly what I'm not supposed to do. I moved my ladder straight in front of where that pipe was, and I got up underneath and I'm opening the sewer cap, and I use all the muscles in my legs, all the power in my legs, and I open that cap, and that fast I went from perfectly clean to gooey, greasy, dirty, black uck, and it was awful. But it was the best thing that ever happened to me in my life, because that quick, I went from being a sewer cleaner to making the committed decision, and I made the decision. I'm going to go back to school. I'm going to get a technical degree. I'm going to go get a job I'm going to get a high-paying job at an aerospace company here in the Los Angeles area. I'm going to get all of the benefits. I'm going to get my health care. I'm going to get paid vacations. I'm going to get optical. I'm going to get dental, everything. And it took me about, from that moment to when I finished my master's, it took me about 8 years. But before I even finished school, I'd already gotten my job at NASA's Jet Propulsion Laboratory. It was just, and then I got a degree in mathematics. I got a degree in physics. Then I went and I got my master's degree in physics. And then I ended up being on the spacecraft launch teams. And so that's me in front of the Mars Pathfinder spacecraft. This whole piece goes into the rocket and takes off, and that was the first rover that we had on Mars since the 1970s. It was a lot of fun. So what I want you to do is I want you to think about this. How did I go from being a sewer cleaner to a NASA engineer? Well, here's exactly how it is written up on page 42 in Think and Grow Rich. And this is exactly what you need to do in order for you to achieve any goal that you want. Number one, decide exactly what you want most. Number two, decide exactly what price you're willing to pay to get it. What are you willing to give in order for you to get what you want? Number three, decide by what date you're going to have it. Number four, write down an action plan and get started. It doesn't matter if that plan is a good plan or a bad plan. Get started. Get some momentum behind you. Number five, Write down all the four things above that. Write those all down. Those are your goal details. Write them all down. And then number 6, read that aloud twice a day. And what I mean by that is read aloud your plan, everything, twice a day. As you're reading it, in your mind's eye, I want you to see it as if you've already got it finished. Pretend that your big goal was to buy a house. The house that I want to buy, that I want you to see in your mind's eye, I want to know, what city is it in? Is it by a lake? Is it by the ocean? Is it up in the mountains? What house do you want? Does it have a basement? Is it 2 stories? Is it 1 story? Is it a ranch? What is it? What do the windows look like? What are the colors? Is it an open concept? What is it that you want in all of that detail? See it in your mind. Feel it in your heart of hearts. And then believe it. You've got to build the belief in your heart of hearts in order for you to have it. And all of these things, you got to see it, feel it, believe it, as that it's already in your position, already in your possession. So that is probably the biggest golden nugget I can give you. But now let's get to some exercises. You ready to do some exercises? So this first exercise, we're going to do this is only going to be a 30-second exercise. And so this is all about order. So we're going to have 4 rounds to this exercise. So the first thing that you're going to see in just a second here is you're going to see a big sheet of numbers, and they're going to be all mucked up. They're going to be all messed up, and they're twisted and backwards and all kinds of stuff. And so they're all cluttered up. So what your job is going to be is, during the next 30 seconds after I say go, is to identify as many sequential numbers as possible. What that means is, the first number you have to find is the number 1, and then you write down number 1. Then you look for number 2. If you find number 2, you write down number 2. Then when you find number 3, you write down number 3, and so forth. So here's the example. I found number 1. I didn't find number 2, but I did find number 3. So guess what? I don't write number 3 down. I only write down through number 1. So here's another example. I found number 1, I wrote it down. I found number 2, I wrote it down. I found number 3, I wrote it down. And the next number I found was number 8. I don't write down number 8. The highest number that I've written down here is number 3. Does that make sense? Is everybody good with that?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Wonderful.
Yes.
Wonderful. Okay. So are you guys ready? I'm going to get the stopwatch out, and I'm going to see how well this works. And here, you ready? Ready, go. Oh, and you only have to write it down on a piece of paper. So there we go, and we're all done. So put in the chat the biggest number you got. How far did you guys get? 9. Good job, Beth. Korea, Rosie, 4. May, 1. Rachel, 9. Rosa, 3. Awesome. Good job. Well, what this is representing right now is a messy work area where you've got stuff you've got paper, you've got books, you've got all sorts of stuff on your desktop that it's just a mess. It could also represent your mind just jumping around from one different idea to another idea. And this is my favorite little video here of the squirrel juggling the nuts. He's not getting to eat any of those nuts because he's juggling all of these nuts. And so my question is this: is that you? Are you juggling so much stuff that you're not getting anything done? And the question with that is, when you're doing that sort of thing, are you being effective? And so those are just personal questions for you to answer for yourself. So now, yeah, I'm guilty too, more often than I'd admit. Now we're going to do round number 2. So we're going to do the exact same exercise, but guess what? It's going to be a little bit different. You're about to see the sheet again, and it's the exact same numbers. And so this sheet, it's been sorted. There's a little bit of sorting that's happened, but your job, just like before, is in 30 seconds to identify as many sequential numbers as possible. So you start, first find number 1, you write down number 1. You find number 2, you write down number 2. You find number 3, you write down number 3. So you just keep writing all of those. And here's the example again. If I found number 1 and I did not find number 3, I do not write number 3. I only write number 1. If the next example, if I found number 1, I found number 2, I found number 3, I write down number 3, and if the next number I found was number 8, I don't write number 8 down. So here, Meredith, it's okay. The first time I didn't find number 1 either. It was really terrible, or I thought it was. I felt very bad. No, there's no reason to, though. This is just a different lesson. So we're going to do the exact same thing. And now, are you ready? 3, 2, 1, go. Up, go. Here we go. How far can you get? 1, 2, yep. Still got 10 seconds. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Boom, time's up. So there we are. Oh, here we go. So this, do you see how it's a little bit cleaner? Do you notice how this is like your desk with all of the stuff, piles and piles of stuff on it, but we got rid of the stuff that's supposed to be in the garage. So the stuff that used to be on your desk that was supposed to be in the garage, we got rid of it. Look at this. Oh, I'm sorry you don't like it, Meredith. Here, 9, 15, 9, 3, 4. Okay. This also represents your mind with only the opportunities that you want that you notice. The opportunities that you don't want, you ignore them. You don't keep them in your, the people that have told you no in the past, you don't think about them. You don't think about them in a negative fashion. Maybe in 30 days, maybe in 90 days, maybe in 6 months, you give them a call again. But in the meantime, until you decide that you're going to give them another call, you don't even think about them. That's how do they say next? So guess what? We're going to do this. We're going to do this exercise again. So we're coming up on round number 3. So what's going to happen in round number 3 is it's the exact same game, although there's a little bit of organization built into the sheet now. And you'll see what you guys know how to play the game. You're just going to write down the number 1. You find number 2, you write it down. Just like before, if you find number 3, but you don't find anything till number 8, you only write down number 3. So you ready? Here we go. Go. 3, 2, 1, 0. Okay, there we are. So now what's interesting about this version of the game is this represents that everything has a place that it's supposed to be in, but nothing is in its place. There's a place for everything, but things are not put in their place. So that's kind of representing your mind with only the opportunities that you want, but they're not in order. Okay? So here's the last game. This is the last round for this exercise. So now what we're going to do is I'm going to both sort and declutter, and that the declutter is setting, and your job, just like before, is to identify the numbers. You don't have to write them down this time, but but when you're all finished, I want you to stand up. Okay? You ready? Here we go. 3, 2, 1, go. You see them in sequential order?
Yes.
When you're all done, go ahead and stand up. I want to see you standing. There you go. Beautiful, beautiful. So what was different this time?
It's not cluttered.
Not only is it not cluttered, it's in perfect order.
Yes.
So guess what? This is just like it's just like your mind. If you want to have things, and number one has a place for it to be, and it is in its place. The number 2 has a place that it is supposed to be, and it is in its place. All of these numbers, they're in perfect order. Even number 50. The number 50 has a place where it's supposed to be, and it is in its place. So here comes the question. You don't have to answer this out loud, but how far did you get in each round? And as you did round 1, round 2, round 3, round 4, did it get better? Did it get easier? What's the difference? Was there a trend? And then the magic question: in which case, round 1, 2, 3, or 4, were you the most effective? Where were you the most effective? And then my question to you: how much better would your life be when you apply the lesson of this game to your life? So now I've got a couple of life suggestions. For your work area, keep it in order. Remove what's not needed. If there's stuff in your work area, that in your office where you're reading and you're doing stuff on the computer, the stuff that's supposed to be in the garage, take it to the garage. Have a place for everything and have everything in its place. And you know what? It's the exact same thing with your mind. Stop thinking of what you don't want. Stop thinking of all of the past rejections. Focus on what you do want. What do you want? What do you want for your business? What do you want for your life? And then, just like in the golden nugget we put before, plan and schedule for it. And what I'm going to suggest is every single day, have a plan of 6 things that you want to get done that day that's going to move you towards your goal, that's going to move you toward what you want. And then work your plan. If you don't get all 6 things done, so what? If you got 1 or 2 of them done, God bless you. That's awesome. And what I would also suggest with regard to that plan and scheduling your day, reduce the tasks to the ridiculous. make your tasks something that you could get done in maybe 10, 15, 20 minutes, maybe 30 minutes. And then just tick them off. Just tick them off. And then go live. Go live your life. Your life is a beautiful thing. Don't not live. So important to live. Are you working to live, or are you living to work? Very important question. So I would suggest that we are working so that we can live, so that we can have an abundant life, so that we can have a full life, full of all of the relationships that we want, full of all of the activities that we want, whether you love vacations or motocross or driving fast cars or going to elegant Michelin 5-star restaurants, whatever you consider a reward for you doing your best, go and do it when you hit it. So that finishes our first exercise. I have one more exercise for you, and this exercise is all about multitasking. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you this chart. And this is, you can bring out the pieces of paper that you guys printed earlier, because you should have something that looks very similar to this. Now, here's what we're going to do. When I start the timer, and not until I start the timer, we're going to do, I'm going to tell you to go, and that's when you put the pencil or the pen to the piece of paper, not before that. I want to give you some very good instructions on what you're supposed to do, okay? So in round one here, we're going to be filling in all of these boxes in columns first. So what that means is the first, you can see, like, this is little letter A through little letter J, and that's what this first row is going to fill into. And then the next row is going to be the number 1 through number 10, and then the third row is going to be capital A, capital B, capital C, all the way through capital J. And then the last row, this fourth row, is going to be Roman numerals, 1, 2, 3 through 10. However, we're filling it in as columns. So what that means is the first thing you're going to do is put in little a, and then you're going to put in the number 1. And then you're going to put in capital A, and then you're going to put in Roman numeral 1. Then we're going to go all the way back to the top, and you're going to fill in little lowercase b, and then the number 2, and then uppercase B, capital B, and then Roman numeral 2. And we're going to keep doing that and doing that and doing that all the way till you get to little j. When you finish this first row, so it's at a point in time, you're going to have all this finished except for little j. You're going to fill in little j, and after I tell you to, when you get here, this timer up here is going to be going. You fill in the time on your piece of paper. Then you come back down and you fill in the number 10, and then you fill in the new time that's up here. You with me? If you're with me, put in a number 1 in the chat. After you put in the second time, excellent. You put in capital J, and then guess what? You fill in the new time. Then you fill in Roman numeral 10, and you fill in that last time, and we've got 2 minutes maximum, or maybe we'll go a little bit more, and then you're done. You just stop, and then we're gonna do another exercise, and then we're gonna talk about it. Is there anybody that does not understand what we're doing? No? All good? Okay. Excellent. So you ready? And I'm just going to keep this up here so that you can see it. So if you get stuck, you know what you're supposed to do, what you're supposed to fill the box in as. So here we go. 3, 2, 1, go. And I can see, maybe I should add some music to this, huh? Should I sing for you guys? I can do the Beatles, maybe. The long and winding road. No, I'm teasing. Sorry. Just keep filling in all the little boxes. Aaron, his practice. And when you're all done, go ahead and put, I don't know, a 9 in the chat, the number 9. There we go. Lots of people are done. Tell you what, instead of the 9s, put in your last time. What kind of times did you guys get? You know, the time that this one down in the bottom right corner. Wow, look at those, fast. Minute and a half, 46 seconds. Wow, 48. Wow, you guys are fast. Maybe I shouldn't show that. Maybe I should go to a blank screen next time. You guys are so fast. You're great. Okay, well, guess what? We're gonna do a different exercise now. You ready? I'll show you what it is. Let's see. Oh, there it is. So now go to page 2 of your handout, and it should look like this, where the arrows are all going to the right. So effectively, we're going to do the exact same thing, only instead this time, remember last time we were doing columns, right? Fill in the first column, come back, fill in the second column, come back, fill in the third column. This time we're going to do it as rows. So what I want you to do in the first row, and only after we start the timer, after I tell you go, you're going to write A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I, J, and then fill in the time just like before, and then start again, go 1 through 10 and put in the time, then capital letters A through capital J and put in the time, and then Roman numerals 1 through 10, and that'll be that. So you ready to start? Okay, wonderful. Let's go. Go. Oops, go. There we go. And when you're all finished, go ahead and, there you go. Somebody, yeah, go ahead and put in your times in seconds. Yeah, look at that. Half a minute. A lot of people. Is everybody done already? Is anybody not finished? Oh. Awesome. Awesome, awesome, awesome. 18 seconds. Wow. 35 seconds. Great job. 46. Great job. 58. Great job. So good. So good. So is everybody done? I think we are. I think so. Okay. Let's go to the next chart then. So let's stop this guy, and we can go to the next chart. Oh, there we go. Oops. Oh, I explained it instead of showing it. There we go. There we go. And there we go. Come on. Okay. This is an explanation of exercise number 2. In this exercise, and we're comparing the first round, which was multitasking, the columns was multitasking, and the second round was focused thinking. So round 1, you attempted to do 4 projects kind of all at the same time. And round 2, you were focused on writing lowercase a through J, getting that project done and then coming back and doing numbers 1 through 10. So here's kind of what that looks like. And so there's the project. And so what typically happens, like think of project number 1 as being in the kitchen. Number 2 is still in the kitchen. Number 3 is in the kitchen still. Project number 4 is in the garage. So I had to go walk out to the garage. And then I have to come back to the kitchen. So I've got to walk back into the kitchen again. And so I'm just going to kind of turn this on and let it, and you notice how it takes a while to go from the kitchen to the garage and from the garage to the kitchen. But if you stay in the kitchen, everything goes pretty fast. And then you get the times and you get the faster time. But now if you go to this version, it's just vroom, vroom, vroom. How much faster? So what I want you to do is on the third sheet, I want you to write like project 1 time. How long did it take you to do project 1 in multitasking? How long did it take you to finish the second row when you were multitasking? How long did it take you to do the third row when you were multitasking? And fill in this little sheet. And then you're going to do the same thing when you were focused. And some of you it was like 10 seconds a row. It was amazing compared. And then later on, if you want to, you can calculate the differences. But the most important question there, which round were you most effective? Were you more effective when you were doing the columns, or were you more effective when you focused and finished a row first? And so how much better, take this as a lesson, how much better will your life be when you're focused on getting something done and you're finished? And what's really interesting is there's all kinds of studies that have been done about multitasking. Businesses, big businesses like IBM and such, they used to think that multitasking was the cat's meow, that was really the thing to do. And in recently, all of the major universities, Stanford, MIT, Harvard, University of California, San Francisco, University of Michigan, they're all saying now that multitasking can be a form of brain damage. Unless you're not, and it's amazing because some people get very highly trained at being able to multitask. They've been training their whole lives, like professional athletes, like guys that are in the NFL, that are quarterbacks. They've been training their whole life to be able to take in all kinds of information all at once and to be able to handle it. And then when they get to the NFL, guess what? They have academies on how to specifically train them to be able to multitask. However, I consider myself a mere mortal. I do not have that ability. If I attempt to multitask, and unless you've had a lifetime of training of multitasking, you're probably going to agree with me that it doesn't work. Now, I want to do another little, you see this this picture down here that with the mostly blue, it says multitask synapse firings. It's not very dark. So what I want you to do is I want to put your finger on the top of your head on the right side. Now put your finger under your chin. Put it under your chin. Now put it on your nose. Now put it on the back of your head. Now put it on your right ear. Now put it on your left ear. Now put it on the underside of your chin on the left side. Put it on the top of your head on the right side. That's kind of what's going on when you're multitasking, is that your thoughts, your synapses are not getting strong. Now you see this side, the right side where it's all bright? This is when you're focused thinking, how the synapse firings go. Put your finger on the top right side of your head. Now put it on the left side, top of your head. Back to the right. Back to the left. Back to the right. Back to the left. To the right, to the left, to the right, to the left, to the right, to the left, to the right, to the left. That is what happens when you're focused on a task. And what you're actually doing within your brain You're strengthening your neural cortex. You're strengthening your synapses. You're making your mind and your brain strong. How would you like to have an Arnold Schwarzenegger brain? Boom, 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 boom. You can be that strong if you choose. If you choose. So does that help with a little bit of multitasking? Oh, Farhana, I agree. You have to practice. You have to practice. I don't know if I pronounced your name right or not. I apologize for that. She's in the chat. She says it's hard to shift from multitasking to focused thinking. And just like Araneth says in the chat, you have to practice. And what is practice? It's repetition. Just like put on the right side of your head to the left. Let's go. Come on, you guys. Put it on the right. Let's go back and forth. Let's be focused. See how easy that is? I bet you could conduct a conversation right now with your finger going back and forth across the top of your head because you've gotten used to it. Just like you get used to changing the radio in your car when you're driving, I don't know, 50, 60, 80 miles an hour down the road. Yes? I think so. I think so. I can be wrong. Anyway, what I'd like to share one more idea with you, and it's all about making that committed decision for your goal. And what I'm going to use for that, I think it's a wonderful example. This man, this is Billy Mills. He was born in the 1930s in the United States on an Indian reservation. He's an American Indian. So born in the 30s, he lived during a very challenging time with, Jim Crow and he was half blood. He was half white and he was half Indian. So the Indians would not accept him because he had white blood, and the whites wouldn't accept him because he was of color. Billy his mom ended up passing away when he was 8 years old, very unfortunate. And he just was down and dejected and just sad. And one day his father told him, "Son, you have broken wings." And they were walking down a dirt road, and his dad had a stick in his hand, and he drew a circle in the dirt, and he says, "Billy, step inside this circle. You have to dig deeper, way below your anger, way below the hurt you're experiencing from your mom passing, way below the self-pity from how people are treating you." And he told Billy, to heal your soul, you must have a goal. I'm going to say that one more time because you might want to write that down. To heal your soul, you must have a goal. And unfortunately for Billy, 3 months later, his dad died, and Billy was sent to Haskell Indian School in Lawrence, Kansas. And to fit in better, even though it wasn't easy, he tried boxing, and that didn't work for him. That wasn't it. And so he tried cross-country running, and that was a much better fit for him. Although when he first got there, he didn't make the team. And what ends up happening is that summer, he ends up working, and he ends up working out a lot. And the next year, the high school coach gave him a spot on the high school cross country team, and he ended up being really good. Although what he would find was he'd end up, in the really long distance races, he'd get tired, he'd get fatigued, and Billy's coach ended up giving him honey and that would help him. That would give that extra sugar, that extra. Yeah. Oh, I should have brought it over. I'll bring it over later, Aaron. And so he ended up performing so well, and he was doing so good. He ended up getting a scholarship to the University of Kansas on their cross-country scheme, on the cross-country team. However, the coach at the University of Kansas told him, no, honey, just go run. And that just didn't work for him. And so again, he would start fading at the end of the long races. And even in that case, he still became an All-American cross-country runner at the college level. And another example of the Jim Crow of the time, unfortunately, in a race where all of the All-Americans they're getting ready to take a picture of all the All-Americans, and Billy's back there, and they say, oh, you, Billy, you get out of the picture. And it was purely because he was asked to leave because of his color, and just completely unfair. So he ends up graduating, and he ends up becoming a Marine. He ends up joining the Marines, and his heart, was just broken. And he ends up having all these challenges, and he ends up starting to run for the Marines. And even then, he was having some challenges, to the point where he was on the 6th floor of his dormitory room, and he was thinking about committing suicide. So he throws open the window, he puts the chair right up underneath the window, he steps out to the ledge, and he remembers his father telling him, you have the wings of an eagle. To heal your soul, you must have a goal. So he ends up deciding in that moment, he comes in out of the window, and he sits down and he writes down on a piece of paper, I am going to win the 1964 Tokyo Olympics in the 10,000 meter race. Now, 10,000 meters, that's 25 times around a 400 meter track, which is pretty close to a quarter mile track. So if you don't know a 400 meter track, think of a quarter mile track. That's 25 times around that sucker. It's pretty good. That's a pretty good race. Then after he decided that, he's with the Marine Corps. He ends up visualizing that race for 4 years before going to the Olympics. In that time, the Marine Corps, they said, well, gee whiz, something is wrong here. They ended up sending him to some special doctors, and they found out that he was borderline diabetic and that he had hypoglycemia. And so they started treating him for that. Not that they have the same level of treatments that they have today. However, they started, high protein diet, only lots of carbohydrates, not so much of these other food types. And on top of that, he's thinking every single day, this is how it's going to be when I win the Olympics. This is how it's going to be when I win the Olympics. And so I want to share this videotape with you of him and how that game ends up. Here we go.
And here we go in the final lap for the gold medal in the 10,000 meter. And up front is Bill Mills. He's pressing Ron Clark, the world champion. Bill Mills, the United States, number 722, is leading Ron Clark. And in third place right now is Mahout Gammoudi of Tunis. A tremendous upset if Bill Mills can hang on. But Gammoudi goes out ahead. It's Gammoudi right now leading in the 10,000 meter. Ron Clark is third. Rather, Bill Mills is in third. Ron Clark is in second right now. This is the final lap for the 10,000 meters. The unheralded Mahout Gammoudi of Tunis is putting out a tremendous sprint. He's out ahead of Ron Clark. Bill Mills, United States, is in third place. This will certainly be the fastest 10,000 meter ever won by an American. Here they come down the final lap. Can Ron Clark catch Gammoudi? They're going through the field. He's coming up. He's passing Gammoudi. Look at Mills. Look at Mills. Look at Mills. Coming on. Mills is coming on. It might be Bill Mills. What a tremendous surprise here. Bill Mills of the United States wins the 10,000 meters. Bill Mills of the United States, a tremendous upset, wins the 10,000 meter here. It's unheralded.
So what happened there? He started to lag. At the end of that, he's coming around the last corner right to the finish line, and he's starting to feel the effects of the hypoglycemia, the effects of being very close, borderline diabetic. And he ran past a German runner. And he out of the corner of his eyes, he swears, you can look it up and check out some of his interviews on YouTube. He swears that he saw an eagle on the German runner's jersey, and it reminded him, I have the wings of an eagle. To heal my soul, I must have a goal. And in that moment, kind of like a moment when you're hearing no, in that moment, he decided, I'm going to win. I'm going to heal my soul. Now, and then in his mind, he also thought, well, maybe I might not be the first one to cross the winning tape. However, I'm going to win. As you see, he ends up winning that race. And in that last,
And here we go in the final lap for the gold medal in the 10,000 meter. And up front is Bill Mills. He's pressing Ron Clark, the world champion. Bill Mills, the United States number 722.
oh boy, I guess I like it so much I want you to see it twice.
And here we go in the final lap for the gold medal in the 10,000 meter. And up front is Bill Mills. He's pressing Ron Clark, the world champion.
Bill Mills.
And here we go in the final lap for the gold medal in the 10,000
It's apparently got to show it.
And here we go in the final lap for the gold medal in the 10,000 meter. And up front is Bill Mills. He's pressing Ron Clark, the world champion. Bill Mills, the United States number 722, is leading Ron Clark. And in third place right now is Mahout Gammoudi of Tunis. A tremendous upset if Bill Mills can hang on. But Gammoudi goes out ahead. It's Gammoudi right now leading in the 10,000 meter. Ron Clark is third. Rather, Bill Mills is in third. Ron Clark is in second right now. This is the final lap for the 10,000 meter. The young herald of Mahout Gammoudi of Tunis is putting out a tremendous sprint. He's out ahead of Ron Clark. Bill Mills, the United States, is in third place. This will certainly be the fastest 10,000 meter ever won by an American. Here they come down the final lap. Can Ron Clark catch Gammoudi? They're going through the field. He's coming up. He's passing Gammoudi. Look at Mills. Look at Mills. Look at Mills. Coming on. Mills is coming on. It might be Bill Mills. What a tremendous surprise here. Bill Mills of the United States wins the 10,000 meters. Bill Mills of the United States, a tremendous upset, wins the 10,000 meter here.
Okay, excellent. We heard it twice. You know what's magic about this story? Not only in the final lap, he focused on nothing but winning, but you see this image here with his face up pointed to the sky and his arms up and his mouth and a great big smile and open. That's exactly how he visualized winning this race for more than 4 years. That's exact. You see the tape coming across across his chest there. That's exactly how he felt he was going to win this race. And it's just absolutely amazing. And he is still, even after this Paris Olympics, he's still the only American to win the gold medal in this 10,000 meter race. And this is all the way back 1964. Just absolutely amazing. So what is the golden nugget here? It's exactly what we shared earlier. I want you to take a picture of this slide here. And I want you to consider this in the context of this is keeping your mind in order. This is all about these two exercises we just did. You decide what you want most. Write that down on a goal card. I don't know if Araneth, are you sharing goal cards with your people?
Yes.
Yes? Excellent. You have to have a goal card. You always want to have a goal card on you. One of the reasons why you always want to have it in your pocket or in your purse or in your phone, because whenever you stick your hand in your pocket or you're opening your phone, you're going to see it. And even if you don't read the whole thing, if you stick your hand in your pocket, you're going to touch it and it's going to remind you of your goal. If you have it on your cell phone as the wallpaper, or maybe as a piece in the carrier, It's going to remind you of your goal subconsciously. You want that goal in the back of your mind all the time, all the time. Decide exactly what you're willing to give to get it. Do you think that's paying, or do you think that's investing? I'm a big investor. I love investing in me. I love investing in my future success. Are you? Decide by what date you're going to have this beautiful goal. Write down a plan that will allow you to get it and get started with it. Write down all of these details and then read it every day, twice a day. See it, feel it, believe it, already in possession of your goal. So let's have, I've got a little bit of homework for you. This is something that I'm going to want you to do after you're done off of this. And I suggest that you do this every single day for the next, until you get your goal at least. So the first thing is, every day, write 10 different things that you're grateful for. 10 things. And you can abbreviate those if just a couple of words. Today I'm grateful for life. Today I'm grateful for my sweetheart. Today I'm grateful that I got to go work out. And it doesn't have to be things that you've already done. Today I am grateful for my goal. Today I am grateful that I've achieved my goal, even if I haven't achieved my goal yet. In fact, that's probably one of the most important gratitudes that you can have. Today I am grateful for my goal being achieved, even if it's not done. Every day, write down your greatness goal. I've got things in off order. That's okay. Number 4, write 3 character traits that you need to have in order to achieve your goal. Do you need to be more open? Do you need to be more cheerful? Do you need to be able to make more phone calls? What do you need? What is a character trait that you need that will help you achieve what I call your greatness goal? And these greatness goals, it's your big goal. I consider goals to be in three different methods of goals, 3 different levels. There's my goal that I want to have, I don't know, by the end of this week, by the end of this month, by the end of maybe 6 months. There's another level goal that's my 3, 5, 10-year goal. And you might notice both of those goals, these are probably things that I have, or these are things that I want to do. And then this third type of goal that I love is a purpose goal. This is more of a beingness goal. In the context of teaching, because it's an easy example, I want to be the best teacher that I can possibly be. What can I do today so that I can be a better teacher today? What can I do over the course of the next 6 months or a year so that I can be a better teacher, so I can be the best teacher that I can possibly be over the course of my lifetime? And so these are the character traits within me that will allow me to be the absolute best teacher that I can possibly be in 10 years and 20 years. And the interesting thing is you can get the thing that you want, the thing that you want to have. You can go do the thing that you want to do. You can achieve those and be done with it and have to pick something new. This beingness goal that I'm suggesting that each of you have is something that you can work on for the rest of your life and still not achieve it. How can you get to the absolute ultimate of your potential? You all have infinite potential, all of you. How can you get to be the absolute best person that you can be in your family, in your relationships, in whatever job or business or investments, in your spirituality?
Showing up on your slide, just so you know.
Say again?
3 is not showing up on the slide.
Yeah, I haven't gotten to 3 yet.
Okay.
They misordered it. There's a place I can get better at. So thank you. Be that person. That's what I would suggest to you. Go be that person. Because if you can be the person that has your goal today, it is a guarantee you will achieve your goal, whether it's a doing this or a having this. So now let's get to number 3. Number 3 is write 6 action steps that you can intentionally take today that will help you achieve that greatness goal. And we kind of talked about that already. You know, you can break those down into like 20-minute pieces so that you can knock those all out in a day and still have plenty of time to live your life. So we're just about done here. I promised you 4 planned outcomes and a gift. I like to think that I hit my 4 outcomes. So I feel like I've introduced Napoleon Hill and Think and Grow Rich. And I feel like I've shared the importance of mental order as associated with your definite major purpose. I feel that you've experienced a couple of order exercises to help you improve your results in moving forward faster. And I feel like I've shared an example of order in thought being the Billy Mills story. He took control of his mind over a long period of time to win the 1964 Olympics. And then the last thing that I promised you something free. Okay. How many people would love to go see, in the comfort of your own home, a Think and Grow Rich movie? If you're willing to, go ahead and scan the QR code on the chart, and that will allow you to have access into my back office. And what you'll find there is the trailer and the full movie that you can watch whenever you want. Come back and watch however many times you want, however often you want. Come watch the movie. And then you'll also have other access to more stuff over time. Right now, I've got Think and Grow Rich in 10 minutes a day, where I read the book in. There's another book called Think and Grow Rich in 10 minutes a day that's with the foundation, the Napoleon Hill Foundation, and I read it. And you're welcome to listen to me read it if that's a benefit to you. There's going to be a lot more readings in that back office, and there's going to be a lot more stuff. There's going to be goal cards, there's going to be articles, all sorts of things. And so I'm going to assume that everyone's been able to scan that, and I'm done. Enjoy the movie. Have a wonderful weekend. I hope this was of value to you and your teams. And if you choose to, I'd love to come chat some more another day. So God bless us, everyone. Araneth, or
Thank you
whoever
so
your
much.
leaders are, God bless you. Have a wonderful weekend.
Thank you so much, Erin. Thank you so much, Gary. Can we have one more picture? Can we have it? Can we take some pictures, Gary?
Oh, the QR code?
No, for everybody in here.
With a gallery picture.
Thank you so much.
You're so welcome. It's been my pleasure. Absolutely.
Okay, I'm gonna go to the gallery so I can take a picture of everybody, including you, Gary.
Oh, God bless you. Thank you.
They were on first page, second page. Turn on your camera. We are on social media, so you turn on your camera, please. All right, and number 4. There you go.
All the people. Look at that.
Right, Gary?
I hope you all had a great time.
Next time, Gary, we gotta max out to 300. We only
Hey.
100.